So today we are talking about purpose and how it's going to be the one main thing that's actually going to get you to your goals, get you to where you want to be, and essentially it's just the one thing you need that could actually make the biggest difference with your habits. So let me tell you a little story about why I think purpose is going to be the one main thing you need to be focusing on, because when I was about 12, I decided I was going to stop having sugar, stop eating chocolate, stop having fizzy drinks and eating unhealthy, didn't have pizza and ice cream and all sorts of things. And for a 12-year-old, that's quite a big thing. And this lasted for nearly 10 years. And I didn't really struggle doing this. And yes, I may have for a handful of times had a little bit of chocolate or had the odd fizzy drink, but for the majority of the time, for those 10 years, I didn't. And I want to share with you the main reason why. And yes, it is purpose. My purpose was for those, well, I didn't know it was going to be 10 years, but for those 10 years, it was to prevent me from actually getting stains on my teeth. I was going to the dentist and I was going to have braces put in, and I was told if I ate a lot of sugar, didn't brush my teeth properly, that there'd be stains there forever. And for me as a 12-year-old, I really didn't want to have square kind of stains on my teeth for the rest of my life. So I kind of went to the extreme and I was like, I'm gonna cut out sugar and cut out anything that I thought might make it worse. And that also included kind of having unhealthy food as well. So I kind of really got onto my health and fitness side of things probably because of that. And saying for a 12-year-old to start doing that, I really had a strong purpose, and to stick with it as well, especially during those years where you go to parties and other kind of events where your friends are going, everyone else is going, and I decided to not go, or I decided to eat differently. I decided to go on a different path that everyone else was going on. And it just goes to show that if you really have a goal that you really want to achieve, that it's not as hard as what you think. A lot of people try to say they want to lose weight or they want to try a new thing, but I don't actually believe they really want it, because if their purpose was to lose weight, they would put in systems, they put in habits to prevent this. So for me, when it came down to drinks, instead of when people ever offered me a drink, I'd go, no, I'm good with water, thank you. My first instinct was always just to go for water. I didn't have any squash juice or anything like that. I just stuck with water, and that meant that I didn't really have to think about it. It meant that whenever the question came up with, would you like a drink? Everyone knew eventually that it was just going to be water. And it made my life easier and everyone else's life easier, knowing that I just drink water. I didn't have to keep saying, oh, I don't want this, because I knew what my answer was going to be. I wasn't having any of these kind of sugary drinks or any other drink regularly, so people knew that it was, okay, it's just water. And it also meant that when that question came up, it was an instant, no thank you, just water's fine. And it came the same with food. People started to realise that they didn't have to offer me, certain foods, desserts and all that, because they knew that I wasn't going to have it. They knew my identity. My identity was someone who doesn't eat these things, doesn't drink these things. And that stuck with me. And it stuck with me, I'm saying, for about 10 years. And it's really important to really have that strong purpose and not something you just want to do or want to try. There's no harm in trying stuff, but if you really want things to stick for the long term, especially when it comes to your habits, you actually have to know what you want to do, what the main goal is, what the whole point of not doing a certain thing or doing a certain thing, where it's going to take you. You can't just expect you're going to try and quit eating certain foods or quit doing something and expect big results straight away unless you have a real desire, a real purpose behind it. My priority was to have clean teeth, and although I think maybe I had the braces for a couple years, because it was ingrained in me, because it became my identity, my habit of just being a healthier person, it meant that for the rest of that time, it was a no-brainer. The only thing that took me off it, saying from the age of 12 to about 22, was I got extremely ill. I was in hospital for a month. I was eating hospital food, which isn't great. And at the time I was a personal trainer, and the people at the gym came to visit me in hospital, and they brought me a protein shake, and it was a chocolate flavoured protein shake, which I wasn't sure about taking it just because I didn't want to break this long period of time without having chocolate. But for me, trying to get the calories in was more important because I wasn't in a good state. So when they did bring in the protein shake and I think a protein bar as well, I made sure I ate it because for my health, it was probably better to have the calories than to not, and especially the protein as well. And so, yes, it kind of kicked me out of that because I was quite unwell for a while and I had a long recovery, but I'm still relatively healthy. I still make sure I'm drinking water the majority of the time. I might have the odd kind of soft drink, I might have the odd kind of dessert, but it's not a daily thing, it's not a weekly thing. Relatively, it might be a monthly thing if that. So what I'm trying to say is, when you're trying to achieve something, make sure you have a proper purpose behind it. It's not about saying you want to do something, it's not about following the latest trend, it's not about trying to do something you think you should do. It should be something that you want to do, something that you really feel like it's going to make a difference in your life, and it's something you're willing to work on. Because if you've got that, then you can build your habits to make it as easy as you want. When I take on a client, I make sure that I actually find out their real big purpose. I don't really want to help them with the little things because it's not going to make a big difference. What I want to do is make sure that I can make a big difference in their lives. It can be small, implementing small things, but making sure we're going in the right direction. There's no point in trying to improve one thing that isn't actually going to help get you to your main goal, your main purpose. So I take my clients through a process to help make sure that they understand what their real big purpose is, so that we can make sure we take them on the right journey to get to their goal. At the end of the day, we want to make big changes in our lives, not small ones. If you want to gain access to the process, just join my community on Skool and you'll be able to get access to it. Hopefully I'll see you there.